Kokum means grandma. For natives, they all call, as we grew up, we never said grandma. We said Kokum. Mushroom is grandpa. As a community Kokum, I worked at Heritage Family Services for 11 years. I had my own office there, and all the children, we had a therapist as well. A therapist, there's two sisters coming in. The therapist will take one, and I'd have one in my craft room, teaching them crafts, beading, all the native culture.
So it's like this?
I may make moccasins for myself, but I don't teach it. Rosina's, but I can help. It's important. Well, it's their culture, people's culture, and they want to learn how to make their moccasins, because that's all they ever wore.
I'm thinking of going back to Harvey and see if he has another hide.
Because it makes them happy. It makes them happy to learn how to make their own moccasins.
Elders Rosina and Bertha are incredible women. And, as part of the elder circle and personally, they've made themselves available to me to seek their advice. But I've been in a number of meetings with them, whether they're formal meetings or informal meetings. And there is such a respect that everyone who has the opportunity to know them, there's such a respect that's there because of who they are and what they do. But there's such a depth of experience, much of it so incredibly adversarial, but there's such a depth of experience there that they really do bring wisdom to everyone around them. And I'm so very grateful for the opportunity to have them in my life in a personal capacity and a professional capacity, and to be able to seek them out. And they have such a quiet, unassuming way about them, but respect is really the word that comes to mind, because when they're around, there are just so many people who are just in awe of what they bring to the room.
Well, mine was an interesting one. I didn't know about Kokums myself until Walking with Our Sisters came along. I was invited to be a Kokum at the time of the Walking with Our Sisters. And it was just prior to that I had set off on my own journey, as I call it, about understanding the First Nation community, the Aboriginal community, getting to know what they were all about, because as a city, it's important that we know how to meet the needs of the Aboriginal people as well, and how are we going to relate to them, and how is our governance model going to work with them.
We were elders on CFSA organization, and we used to have a meeting every 3 months or something like that, and there was elders there. So a couple of them asked me if I would be an elder.
I mean, as a council, what we have done is advocacy, and advocacy in terms of becoming the first council to make a resolution. For instance, that was about truth and reconciliation, or about women in violence. So we'll make a resolution, and that goes on the books, and it's amazing. It's heard about often nationally. And the other is really through our social planning department, I guess you could say, is where we hear from that.
Like our hearts. Can you all find your heartbeat? Right here, just like. And that's the way you feel that ta-tum, 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 ta-tum. And that's how we treat our drums. We slowly tap our drums, because we respect our drum. We respect them. Listen me. No, thank you.
Well, they're always learning how to count in Cree, and so I teach them. I said, Peyak, it's 1, Niso, Nisto, Neo, Nianan. 5. That's how far they can go. And they know all the animals in Cree.
Not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care.
It is pretty hard because none of their foster parents or biological parents, they don't know how to speak Cree. And we try to teach them at the school, but that's how far it'll go. They know all the say Cree words and all the animals.
Figure out what we're doing here. Camera. Camera. Oh, here we go. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a beautiful picture of you smiling.
I want to go and see.
Thank you for helping me.
Who's going to see this?
As an Aboriginal agency, we look to our elders to guide us and teach us.
Do that right, or is it the other way around?
And so for them to come every, I think it's every second Thursday or Friday, and offer craft teachings to anybody who wants to come in. So the Friendship Center is unique in that it's open to everybody, but we're teaching our culture and sharing our culture with everyone. And the importance it has for the families who come in and the women, I think you saw mostly women in there today, is a connection to other women.
I did at home though, like I painted my rocks at home.
So today they're learning how to make moccasins, so a traditional craft from passed down generations. And that's something that they are learning and they can pass down to their children and their grandchildren. And the support that Bertha and Rosina offers more than just teaching them how to make the craft. It's, just conversation and community and, laughter, just being with each other, right? So being role models and support to the women in the community is really important.
Okay. I think I do. Never see her.
Rosina and Bertha, they actually have really good teachings, and Rosina is like a mentor to me because I only started embracing my native culture a year ago, and she's very open and warm. I can ask her anything, and she's taught me how to make moccasins, medicine pouch. She taught me about the teachings, about the sweats. Like if I have questions, I'll just contact her and about protocols. And she's 84 years old, but she's well spoken. She can actually bead the smallest little needles. She could put the thread through, and I actually have to ask her to thread up my needles. So she's very, very good and very, very wise. Yeah.
My mom did everything. She got to be in her 70s. She gave me all of her beads.
Yeah.
Your turn now, she said. She never taught me nothing.
Well, I mean, it has to start in school.
Yay! Good job, my friends.
And I think we've done a bad job overall in our country and certainly in our province and the province that I was originally born in making our kids aware of what happens and what it means to a woman and how to treat a woman. And
Tidings we bring to you and your king. Good tidings.
so I think there has to be a lot more youth programs that make sure when they're young, because once I think they've reached 18 or so, you've lost them. You can have some sort of an impact, but you're not going to have as much of an impact as you are when kids grow up, when they're 3, 4, and 5. Like the kids that Bertha and Rosina are with in the Head Start program.
Time, come on, Rosina.
Look, we are finished now.
Come on, sweetie. Time. Do you know what a documentary is? Yes. What is it?
They respect us. Like yesterday we had a potluck and they always ask me to say grace in my language
And Peyton.
all the time.
Let's